And that means we're going to have the sunlight out a little longer. Instead of being dark by 4:30, 5 o'clock, now it's going to start getting dark like around 7:30-ish, 8 o'clock. So now I could start doing my runs now for the Chuleta Brothers Challenge. Plus the weather's getting a little nicer, but today for some reason it was chilly. But now that Lee came back from commercial, he could let us know about his week and his trip to Arriba, Viva Mexico. And we could listen to how much fun he had out there while we were freezing over here. So, Chuleta Lee, take it away.
Yeah. So, man. So, had a trip. Prior to that, and I will get into a conversation which I'm curious about later on, but we'll talk about Mexico for now. But last Thursday was my mother's 1 month, anniversary or whatever you want to call it, for her passing. So we did something in the church uptown, the Heights, just a fam. Shout outs to Rich, shout outs to my sister Mari. We just, went to Incarnation, and then I'll ask out because I want to find out like certain things that I was thinking about out there, like if you ever witnessed. But other than that, the one thing they did do, and shout outs, even though it's fucking a week late, but it was Dominican Independence Day, last the 27th.
Yeah, we
didn't do a podcast, but we'll try maybe next week put some music and stuff in the intro. But then Friday early morning, me and my fiance, we took off to Cancun for a few days. Everything was good. We just headed out, went to Mexico. The one thing was the crazy thing. I had a few crazy things happen in this fucking vacation. So on Friday, as soon as I get to the airport, everything is good. And me and my girl, we get through the thing. We get on the plane. And usually I want to drink before I get on the plane. But now, because of COVID, there really wasn't any bars. It was either you got to go to bar, you got to eat. So I was like, fuck. So I didn't get a chance to drink. We got on the flight. It was a little bumpy to go out there. And then as soon as I get on the plane in JFK, I'm like, let me just try to watch something like some Netflix. I downloaded some shows. And when I go to my book bag, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, I left my tablet and I left my fucking work laptop. So I was like, what the fuck? So my work laptop, I left it and I'm like, holy shit, what am I going to do now? They just closed the door in the plane. So I'm like trying to figure out places to either call, to find out how the hell. And then I think I was hitting up my sister. I think she called. I went online, and with the little Wi-Fi I had, I did something that you got to pay, like, which is weird, for Lost and Found. They charged me like $34 through the phone.
Lost and Found charge you?
Yeah, there was like a company. I'm like, yo, whatever. So I went through the whole process. You put in a description, and I wrote everything, and then I'm like, fuck. So then that shit started off my trip bad, and I'm like, fuck, man. And then, of course, I'm like, let me just try to block it off. There's nothing I could do about it. But I'm like, it's just my job. So when I get to Mexico, I get there. It's fucking hot as shit. Trying to talk to my sister, try to get some information, trying to call a few numbers.
Yo,
what?
Not to cut you off.
Yeah.
But we all say, yo, it's hot as shit. I want to know where that saying come, and whoever created it, did they touch shit to see how hot it is?
I guess because when the shit is, I think, hot.
I don't know. My ass don't burn when it comes out.
I don't know. I just searched on the Googles. It said, hot as shit, hot sauce.
Yo.
They got a hot sauce for it.
I always wanted to know, like, when your shit comes out of your culo, it's not hot. So how come we always say it's hot as shit? Because we're shitting in the toilet.
Yeah.
It's not like when the shit hits the water, you see the smoke comes out because it's you see how when lava hits water and it evaporates, the smokes comes. My shit, when it hits the toilet water, smoke doesn't come out.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I'm searching now for hot as shit, and there's different things here.
It's probably a band
so
name,
it's
hot as shit.
Hot as shit in here, right? And then there's another one that says, this guy is cute as shit. I never heard a girl say that.
Me neither. That means you ugly, because if you're cute as shit, you ugly, bro.
And then as shit, that means that something is funny as hell. I don't know, but
back to this story.
Yeah. It was hot as shit. So finally, I think we try to figure out some stuff, and then me and my fiance, we're just going into where they pick you up, the super shuttle, and we're going, and I'm like, I want to have a drink so badly, but we're like, we wasted time, going through the whole security shit and all that stuff. So I was like, we just want to go to the hotel. So then, as I'm walking, I'm talking to the guy who has our thing. He's like, oh, it's gonna come in a few minutes, and then I told him what happened to me. He's like, oh, amigo, tú puedes ir adentro. Like, he goes, you could go put it adentro. So he took me inside, left my girl. This motherfucker took me, like, he goes, I'm going to take you inside the office. And now he's like, come with me. We go towards where I came from. And then he goes, nah, let's go over here. This is the easier way. And I'm like, yo, these people trying to rob me?
Yeah.
Because when they were taking me to, that's when, like, you see the real, I'm not going to say, that's another dumb thing to say. The real Mexicans. They're all Mexicans. But that's like when it's not like tourist stuff. I went to the outside parts.
There was no gringos. It was all
Spanish. And they're all like looking at you. And I'm like, what the fuck? So then he finally takes me in. I'm like, okay, I know the airport a little bit. So he takes me upstairs to Delta, which I was flying in. And I'm like, oh man, this will be good. Hopefully I get a chance to get this shit fixed. He takes me to Delta. We go inside the Delta office. This is not United States, people. This is Mexico. So the guy who's helping me, his name is Sergio. And then Sergio goes, ¿Te ofrecía una cerveza? But he drank them all. So I was like, damn, this motherfucker's like, these guys are cool.
Sorry, amigo.
So he was trying to help me. And basically what he got was the number from like, just like Google sort of. He couldn't figure anything because he said if it would have been lost in Delta, then he could help me. But since it got lost to TSA, he couldn't help me. So he gave me a number.
Yeah.
Told him thank you. I left and I'm like, fuck. And that was like a good 30 minutes. Get back. And then I'm like, I need a drink. And they were making these margaritas. So I'm like, all right, give me 2 margaritas, bro.
This is in the airport while you wait for the bus.
Yeah, yo, my
There's
man.
There's a bar outside.
There's a bar to the right that they used to have that had beers, but now there's a big bar. It looks like a Senor Frog.
On the left.
In the left.
When the buses come pick you up, it looks like a restaurant.
Yes.
But I think you got to go in like if you're going to the airport.
Yeah, so now you could go out.
So the little one that was on the right, they took it out? Or is it still there?
I think they took it out, but as you continue walking, now they have things on top, I guess, to block the sun, because that used to be open. And as you walk, because I had to walk to like, I think, something 16, and I was like 2. As I'm walking, there's like carts of the guys selling beers. So the cart, I'm like, let me get 2 margaritas.
Because when I went 2 years ago, they had both. The bigger one you're talking about and the small one where I was used to get a drink to get in the bus.
Me too. And I was like, so I told him, ¿Cuánto es? He was like, fucking $17, bro, for a cheap margarita. And I'm like, pesos or dollars? He's like,
hold
dollars.
On. Were you in Pancho's? Or?
Yo, for real.
That's Pancho's price.
$17. I'm like, what the fuck? So then I got the drinks. Me and my girl get in the car. We start heading to Cancun. So last times I've been there, I've been to Riviera Maya, but Cancun is much closer from the airport. No, we went to the hotel. The hotel has a beautiful beach. We stood at Dream Sand. Really nice beach. The only thing I noticed is that it's a little bit smaller hotel. And the one shit that once me and my girl got in that we noticed was like these people weren't wearing masks. So when we got into the check-in, we're trying to check in. And then these people from Kansas City already trying to like talking to us. You see them with the Chiefs hat, with the Royals. And they're like, oh, whatever. And they're just drinking. Cerveza, por favor. I'm like, yo, so they're cool. But I'm like, yo, they don't got a mask on. So we had our mask. Finally get our key. That was like Friday. And I think we just chilled that night. And we did like whatever they had at the resort, like outside. So we hung out there. They had like a mariachi guy singing. And then like I think I had talked to Al a little bit on this trip. I didn't drink much. I drank, but not like the usual. If I drank, I did drink in the morning because that's just the way I do. But I will have probably like, let's say, 7 or 8 drinks as opposed to double digits.
Yeah.
If I'm out, and I know you people are like, yo, you guys are crazy. But I'm talking about like morning to night.
Yeah.
And the one thing I didn't drink that much, there was a lot of beer. I had a few Dos Equis Amber, but for the most part, I mostly was drinking like the Pina Coladas, the Miami Vices, and I kept trying...
The ice, the slushies.
Yeah, and I kept trying different drinks. So what I drank a lot out there that I normally don't drink was Absolute. So, because the only thing they had high end was Jack. Jack was like the best whiskey they had. That's the only bad shit. So I had Jack, but with the Coke, it tasted mad sugary. I had that, and then I just kept having Absolute. They had Absolute Mandarin, Absolute Citron, or something, and I would mix that with pineapple, or cranberry. Nice. So I had a lot of that. I also did tequila shots. We definitely did. There was one called Cien Años that I was trying to find at the airport, but I couldn't find. That one was probably like the best one that I tried from LA because they mostly had Cuervo. Jose Cuervo was like
their top.
Yeah. So, but that 100 Años was different. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That was Friday. Saturday we did. I think Saturday we went on excursion. I think that was the day that I almost died. So on Saturday, we planned a trip to go to Isla Mujeres, which is like an island that you could take on a catamaran. So we planned it and we went out there. And the one thing that happened to us was when we got out there, everything was cool. We got on the boat, everything was crazy, like good. But then once we had to go snorkeling, it was a little rocky, which was, I'm like, okay, it's fine. It's the ocean. The guy parked. But he had told us, like, everybody stick with there's like a yellow rope. They were like, everybody stick with the yellow rope. So as we go in, well, pretty much everyone went. And I went. And when I jumped in, I've always snorkeled. Probably my 5th or 6th time snorkeling. So I jump in. I'm like, because normally the life vest, you're good.
No, yeah, of course.
But yo, that shit would turn into something else. I couldn't really get the yellow handle, but I was like, I don't need the yellow handle. I don't need to follow them. So I started like moving, kind of swimming a little bit out. As I went out, we're there, and the water is just fucking like, it's going over it's like going, even with the vest, it's going over my neck. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if you're in deep water, since my ass is short, so let's say if I was in something like fucking 5'5", I'm 5'7", or less, or like 5 feet or something, it was pretty much like close to my neck, even with the vest on.
Fuck.
So you're like, okay, your head, pretty much your whole body's in it. So then like I kept swallowing a lot of water. And I had the I don't know how you call that tube when you're
snorkeling, the breathing tube.
Yeah, so I had that, and I was trying to use that, and I was like, I just kept taking in a lot of water, and as I was doing that, one guy noticed because I just kept coughing, and one guy was like, "Ayuda." So then they like, because I couldn't move, like the current was too strong. The guy came, one of the workers came with like a fucking donut. So we held on to that. So I was just more trying to catch my breath because I swallowed a lot of the water and shit. So then my girl was same thing. She came too. He was like, hold on. She was panicking. I was like trying to calm down. We finally calmed down. Then there was another couple to the right of us. One girl, she was pretty big and she was panicking. And then the guy was like, you know, the worker was trying to tell like the other workers like, yo, come help. We need another donut because she needs help. And he's like, yo, we all got to go back. The water's too strong. So the crazy shit to that is that prior to us going out in the water, we met a couple from Texas. The guy used to live in New York. The girl he's from Florida, New York. And then I think she's from Texas. So they were out there, man, cool as shit. I didn't know this girl was 3 months pregnant. So because she was 3 months pregnant.